the Ron Paul movement. And he's been a podcaster ever since. He's written for publications like Oon's Review and Tacky Mag. He writes a lot of nonfiction, and he's maybe more well known for that. He's gotten respect from people as high up as Steve Saylor for some of his insights. But he's also a writer of fiction, which I don't think gets enough love. I'm a big fan and supporter of his work, and this is definitely the first time, probably the first time he's ever really done any kind of public event, but definitely the first time he's ever read his fiction publicly. So I'm going to hand it over to Robert. He's going to read us a little story from his, I would say somewhat dystopian, if that's a fair word, novel, Vaporfornia, in which he imagines a strange trip set at a fictionalized version of the Beverly Center. Ready to rock?
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Over the red arched bridge, over the waterfall which goes far down into the atrium, I follow the faint sound of giggling down a corridor away from the main atrium. But the corridor is dark, like the remains of some abandoned section that was quarantined from the 80s, perhaps from the original Beverly Center. The muted sound echoing in the distance, "Max, please help me!" followed by giggling that gets creepier. A neon grid appears in the dark to show me the way, turning various colors and disappearing behind me, constantly changing course. As the neon path ends, I reach a tall Jenga-like tower made of illuminated cubes of brick glass going way up into the dark sky, the cubes constantly moving and changing color, with the lights turning on and off. From the base of the tower, I walk up the neon-lit stairwell. Looking out, I see the glass cubes floating out into space. As I examine them closer, I notice each one contains a particular memory, some traumatic, some romantic. Some cry out in pain for their missed chance to come into fruition, while others taunt me about the opportunities I missed out on. I try to walk onto one where I see a long-lost crush, but each one just floats away into space. All my missed dreams, the many that didn't come into fruition. Each particular moment lost in that state for all eternity, crying out at me as they float away into the abyss. I did this to them for not taking action and giving them a chance to bloom. The next glass cube is one of an old man on his deathbed. I examine him closely. Is that my grandfather? The man mumbles to himself, "I'm almost dead, but I think about my life, the dreams I had in youth. It was all for shit." He notices me. "It's you! You fucked me! You could have made those dreams a reality if you weren't such a little pussy." He then floats away, stuck in that state of eternal regret. That was me in the future. That's how life works. If you fail to move on to the next stage in life, you're permanently fucked with no turning back to correct your mistakes and missed opportunities. You have to backtrack in order to get to that path to a better future. What Blackstone said about achieving the power to transcend time and space and reclaim lost futures, reclaiming the lost dreams of youth. But the reality is that we must go forward to face our fate. Reality that outside forces shape our destiny. The path beneath me is now dark, the neon stairwell is gone too, and I am forced to walk inside the one last cube. I drift back into my body and find myself in what appears to be a maintenance corridor of the Beverly experience, and everything is dark, too dark to see. With that crying, I run down the corridor, chasing the voice which leads me to a tiny door. It's locked, but I'm able to use the Beverly Experience app to open it. Inside is a lavishly furnished dollhouse, large enough for me to fit inside. At a table set for tea is a series of dolls, an Emma the Nature Girl action figure, one of me, and then one that is really strange, naked and damaged, like someone did some occultist experiment. As I'm expecting the strange doll, something startles me. The doll is crying, its face animated like it's alive. I inspect it closely. It looks like Natalie Bloom. The Natalie doll turns to me and cries out, "Max, save me from the vapor!" I close my eyes and put my hands on my face to see if there's any VR set. When I open my eyes, I find myself curled up in a fetal position inside of a large dollhouse at a high-end toy store. Some woman with her small daughter notices me and says, "Security, there's a creep talking to himself inside the dollhouse." I scream at her, "I sexually identify as a doll, you bigoted cunt!" The woman is dumbfounded. I examine the dolls closely again. They're all merchandise for the show, even the Natalie doll. But that wasn't part of the show. Perhaps this was just a bad trip from that Vaportini. It's daytime now back at the atrium, with the giant sun-themed astronomical clock as the centerpiece, verdant hanging gardens alongside the atrium. The Beverly experience was an experience indeed.